The moment you react, something else has already taken control of you. A word, a glance, a tone of voice, and suddenly your inner balance is gone. Most people live this way without noticing, pulled by emotions they did not choose and decisions they did not intend to make. In ancient Japan, this condition was understood as weakness, not of the body, but of the mind. A mind that reacts automatically can be guided, provoked, and ultimately controlled by forces outside itself. Long before modern psychology gave names to impulse and conditioning, the samurai trained to remove reaction from their inner world. Miyamoto Musashi wrote that true perception is not disturbed by emotion, and that clarity arises only when the mind remains unmoved. Zen teachings echoed this idea, not as philosophy alone, but as daily discipline. To remain calm was not a personality trait. It was a skill forged through practice. A mind that does not react cannot be led astray because nothing external can seize it. Chapter 1. The Unseen Chains. Kenji worked in a crowded office where tension lived just beneath the surface. A careless remark from a colleague could ruin his mood for hours, and a small criticism from his supervisor stayed with him long after the workday ended. He believed this was normal, that stress was simply part of modern life. Yet each reaction left him drained, as if pieces of himself were being taken without his consent. He did not realize that his suffering was not caused by events, but by his immediate surrender to them. In Bushido, the warrior's code, emotional restraint was not suppression, but mastery. A samurai who allowed anger to rise too quickly was considered dangerous to himself. Reaction narrowed vision and shortened judgment, making the mind easy to exploit. Kenji began to sense this truth during a quiet moment on a train ride home, when he noticed how his thoughts replayed the day's conflicts without mercy. It was then that he understood something simple and unsettling. His mind was not free. Chapter 2. The First Stillness. Musashi taught that one must observe without interference, seeing things as they are rather than as one feels them to be. This was not achieved through force, but through stillness. Kenji began with something small and deliberate. When irritation appeared, he did not answer it immediately, either outwardly or inwardly. He allowed the sensation to exist without feeding it words, stories, or justification. At first, this restraint felt unnatural, even uncomfortable. The mind wanted release, explanation, reaction. Zen practice warns that this moment is where most people fail, mistaking restraint for weakness. But Kenji persisted, noticing that emotions rose, peaked, and faded when left untouched. He was not suppressing them, he was refusing to be carried by them. Chapter 3. The Discipline of Delay. In traditional Japanese training, delay was a form of power. A warrior did not rush to act because haste revealed fear. Kenji applied this principle to his daily interactions, choosing a short pause before responding to provocation. This pause was not dramatic or visible, but internal, a space where awareness replaced impulse. Within that space, he began to see options he had never noticed before. What surprised him most was how others changed in response. Words that once controlled him now passed without effect, as if they had lost their weight. People who relied on emotional pressure found no leverage when he did not react. Without confrontation, without explanation, the dynamic shifted. He was no longer predictable, and therefore no longer easily influenced. Chapter 4. Becoming Unmoved. Zen speaks of the unmoving mind, not as a rigid state, but as one that flows without clinging. Kenji's inner world slowly reorganized itself around this idea. He stopped rehearsing arguments that never happened and releasing anger that had already passed. His attention returned to what was directly in front of him, rather than what had wounded him earlier. This presence brought a quiet confidence that did not need display. In Musashi's writings, mastery is described as ordinary and calm, not dramatic or forceful. Kenji felt this ordinariness settling in. He still experienced emotion, but it no longer commanded him. The difference was subtle, but profound. He was choosing his responses instead of being chosen by them. Chapter 5. The Quiet Transformation. The final change was not noticed by others at first, but Kenji felt it clearly. Situations that once unsettled him now appeared smaller, less personal. He understood that manipulation depends on reaction, and without reaction, influence collapses. This was not detachment from life, but deeper engagement with it on his own terms. He was present without being exposed. The samurai did not seek invulnerability. They sought clarity. A mind that does not react is not cold, but grounded. It cannot be rushed, provoked, or led without consent. In this state, one stands quietly within the world, aware and steady. And in that steadiness, true freedom begins.